Hello, hello. You have sound. You can hear me? I think you can hear me. Okay, now where is back to the window? Okay. Right. Okay. I can't even put you on face cam right now and be like, put you on face cam and you could see my face of panic. But okay, we have sound, the video is the right direction, and I've just had an email from the person who was calling. So I have the details. I'll open that after we finish here, and I can call her back if there's any questions. Right, I'm going to catch my breath here for a second. Happy Monday! That was hilarious. Especially hilarious because they know that I live stream at that particular time. So the fact that they haven't called all day, but they called exactly when I went on a live stream, that's just joy. Right. Moving on. Maybe I should save this one that says, "One moment, please." Ruffled. Shimelle is ruffled. She is. She's okay, though. Right. So, the good bit is I managed to print some photos. I have not got a face cam, but I got one camera working the right direction. We're going to leave it there. I'm not chancing any more tech. So photos today. So sorry, this is spoilers from Friday. We did stamping on Friday, but I wanted to show it to you because now obviously it's been out all weekend and the colors of the ink have all oxidized. So if you want to see what any of that layering looks like up close now that it's oxidized, I'm just really happy with this stamping. I love it a lot. Catherine Pooler has my heart on this rainbow set. Love it. Okay, so yeah. But some options for today. So today we're going to scrap in one of my favorite styles. And that is a background that starts really simply, but we're going to add loads and loads of detail to the foreground. Yeah. So we have these options. I can't believe that I haven't scrapped these already, but I don't think I have. So if you think I have and I'm losing my mind, please say so. But did I really? I don't think I've printed them. I think that's why I haven't scrapped them. So I took a whole bunch of photos of him one day in the cherry blossoms, and we did the Wes Anderson thing. But did I feel like I scrapped it. But if I put it somewhere silly, I've just realized I could have it here in these. I'm just going to double check because I feel like I've done it. But have I just done these kind of photos so many times and love them so much that I've confused myself? I'm just going through what I have separate here for class. I still don't see them. I don't think we have. I don't think I've scrapbooked them. I think my mind has just gotten confused. And then these two photos, which look quite similar because he's wearing the same coat, but they're actually different days, different stories. So we can do cherry blossoms, and I think that's probably the right one. Or we could do one of these more primary colored photos. So the backgrounds we've got are these. And they do have the pastel thing going here. So I think either of these work well with the cherry blossoms. Sophia says she doesn't think I've scrapbooked these, but she's also calling herself an unreliable witness. Okay, nobody else remembers me scrapping them. Okay, I think it's just me slightly losing the plot right now. So, well, everybody's making me feel better. Helen says she doesn't remember them, but sometimes she's lucky if she knows what day it is. So we're all in this together. It's fine. Oh, that's not a cute. I didn't mean to push that button. If you just got a weird thing on your screen. Okay, right. What I wanted to ask you was pink. Oh, photos. Pink trees. Primary colors. So I think I know the answer there, but I'm just going to check in case actually you're quietly going, no, I want to see the primary colors. Okay, and Is this coffee cool enough that I can actually drink it? It's decaf. It could help. Okay. So hi, I don't have face cam, so I'm going to do this way. My name's Shimelle. I teach online scrapbooking classes, design scrapbooking products, and help you use them to tell your stories in a creative way. It's not just my hobby, it is my job, and that means anytime I scrapbook on the internet, technically it's considered advertising, and legally I need to make sure that you're aware of that. So thank you so much for watching my hashtag advertising. I appreciate you being here, whether you are live, whether you are chatty, whether you watch from Tomorrowland in the future, whether you're quiet, I don't mind. Whether you scrapbook, whether you don't scrapbook, I don't mind. You're welcome here, and I'm glad that you're all here to make me feel like it's totally normal to not remember basic things like, did I print these photos before? If you want to scrapbook with me anytime, you can find the links to everything that I'm using this month, that's the May kit, or anything I'm using next month, that's the June kit, which has a much brighter color scheme. And you can use affiliate links to get the same exact things from scrapbook.com. Or you could take that list and go shopping at a local store if you've got one, because that's epic if you do. And you can also just choose similar items from your stash, and that is all welcome too, because I want you to use what you buy, definitely. And I really think that we should be crafting more than collecting. I'm here for that. I do love a collection, don't get me wrong. My husband's downstairs rolling his eyes at the understatement of I do love a collection. But anyway. Oh, Duffy says you're just having a bad hair day. The sad bit is I'm not. I have a good hair day and I have Winnie the Pooh on my dress. So I was all ready. But no, it's all right. Yeah, I own my bad hair days. Last week I just wore a hat one day for a live stream. Anyway, okay, so you can find links in the description to the supplies. You can also find links in the description to my classes, and you could take just standalone, use your supplies for stickers, stencils, bold pattern papers, or your stamp sets. Those are all individual purchases that are really easy to go in. You get 4 videos and you have 4 ideas to get you using that specific kind of supply. Or it's a great time to join in a new class right now. It's called This Year's Story, and right now we're in the bridging class, and I sent out an email right before we went live. So with a little bit of luck, most of you in that class will have received the email that tells you what this week's schedule is. So there are 2 live presentations this week, one tomorrow at this same sort of time, 1:30, and one Wednesday at 1:30. But if the 1:30 time does not work for you, it's okay. Everything stays on the replay. And then the following week, we start into certain things we move from the bridging class into This Year's Story, and we're going to look at our whole chronology of what we're scrapping in 2023 and what photos we've taken so far. And that stuff is mostly not live. Most of the videos in This Year's Story are edited and have little stop and action points for you to pause and go do something if it suits you and then come back. Okay, so that class you can sign up for right now and join in right at the beginning. So that would be a great time to sign up, and you can find that at shimelle.com or the link in the description. Okay, any questions, let me know, and we will go ahead and go with 85% of you saying, please scrapbook the pink trees. Excellent. And Angela has a question straight away, which is, what settings do you use on your camera when taking the pink tree photos? And so the difference between the photos taken here and the photos taken here are less about settings and more about the fact that that is my DSLR. This is my phone. Okay. Oh, Katie says, yes, she got her email. Excellent. So I shoot something like this. I'm shooting on a DSLR with a low number for the aperture, so that I'm shooting at like f1.4, might shoot at 1.8, might shoot at 2.0, depending on the circumstance, but I'm dialing that f-stop right down to a low number, which means that my lens on my camera is open nice and wide. When you take your camera and you want everything to be in focus, you want the lens to have a small opening. And if you can remember this by thinking about pinhole cameras. So pinhole cameras are very like an easier way to take a picture. And when we go back to photos that have existed for a long time and we're looking at earlier photos, pinhole cameras is how they got those sorts of images when we didn't have the tech for everything that's in a camera now. And the idea being that if the hole letting the light in is very, very, very small, then everything will be in focus. But you will have to keep the lens open a long time to get enough light in. Okay? So when I'm shooting something like this, I'm doing the opposite of that. I'm opening the lens as wide as it will go to get lots of light in very fast, and I am taking my photo in a split second. Yeah. Now, one thing that's really interesting about these is I actually shot these at sunset. So there's very little light. We were losing the light as we took these. And it doesn't look like we're losing light. And that has to do with me going, can I keep this lens open just enough that I get that much light in the shot? Because the light is really warm. Even though there's not so much of it, at sunset, the light is so warm. It's lovely. I mean, it's lovely on all skin tones, but Mr. Blondie here, it just picks up all the little kind of red and light brown tones in his hair, and it's really, really lovely. This one's a bit overexposed. This side of his face looks a little ghosty, and if I had planned a little bit more about printing it, I probably would have pulled the highlights down in Lightroom to give a bit more color there. But I love the color in this one. That's just how I like my sunset light. So that would have been shot on a 50mm lens at about f1.4. It might have been 1.8. And at sunset. No flash, no extra light, just natural light. Okay. If that does not answer your question, I know that was more than what you asked for, but if I can help with anything else, let me know. I love that phone cameras mean that we have the ability to take pictures all the time without carrying extra gear around, but I don't love my camera phone anywhere near as much as I love my proper camera. Yeah. Admittedly, so I think I have to update my phone this year because it's really on its last legs. It has a broken screen. It has had a battery replacement, and still I have to carry a battery pack every day because the battery only lasts half the day. That was our bend and snap moment there. And so I know that I will have to probably upgrade it this year, but I'm trying to string it out until the new ones come out because they tend to come out September-ish. And so now would not really be a great time, probably, because I would probably be annoyed then that the camera and everything else gets better again in September, and I've only just bought mine. So I'm trying to string it along until the next release, which means I have an iPhone X right now, which was the 10, whatever you want to call it, 10X, I don't know. Because they skipped 9, didn't they? And that means I'll be going from 10 to 15, I'm guessing, unless they come up with some other fancy name. So it will be a big jump. And there are certain things that they have added that I think will be great about the camera in there when I upgrade. You've got the telephoto lens now, which I think mine is the last model maybe that doesn't have the telephoto, so I can't zoom out. I can only zoom in. And the front-facing camera is obviously much higher quality now than on mine. However, anytime that we're faking the background and we're like putting it in portrait mode and we're softening the background that way, it has a very real chance of not being 100% right, because they this one, that one, because it kind of has to guess. So do you know what I mean? Have you ever had a photo where you put the use it in portrait mode and then it gets most of it right? Like it can tell what's your subject, but maybe it takes something next to your subject and puts that into focus too, even though it's several feet behind. Yeah. So like I have a photo of him where I used portrait mode because he was in the park with loads of other kids, and I wanted a picture where he was in focus, but I didn't really want the strangers' children in my photo. And so I thought if I put it in portrait, they'll be blurry. You won't be able to tell who they are. Great. Except he's sitting there and there's like kids back here And there's some backpacks. Now the backpacks were like way behind him. So like where this kind of thicker bit of blossom is right here. But for whatever reason, the portrait camera thought this is my subject, but also this is my subject. Like maybe he had his arm out or something, but he didn't. And so it put all of this in focus, but then this gap in here blurred. And it wasn't in focus over on this side. And so it's like the most ridiculous image, and it doesn't make sense, where you wouldn't be able to get that when you are using a lens that is actually focused on one depth. Does that make sense? So yeah, I don't know what my experience will be when I upgrade, but portrait mode on mine is nice, and I'm glad I have it in my pocket all the time, but I much prefer my proper camera. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with this background. I could do it on this one too, but I'm gonna go with that one. I'm just gonna go with gut instinct there. Okay, so I need a mat around those pictures, and I'm gonna use a lot of these stickers, I think. And I've got plenty of dots, but I have to be careful with them. AJ says, thank you for saying this. So many people say phones are just as good as DSLRs. And while phone cameras are 100% valid and amazing, the effect is not the same. Both are great tools, just different. Yes. Rosemary says, does it make a noticeable difference using a better quality camera than a phone camera when printing with a selfie? Yeah. I mean, this is the difference. That's the same kid, you know? Look, like this versus this. No, I'm still glad I have this photo. And he's still a cute kid. He's mine, so I have to think he's cute. But this is much nicer. Yeah? But those are both printed on the selfie. Yeah. So you just, like a phone camera, this has a real sharpness to it. So the tree here versus the soft of the tree here. And I've shot this tree in portrait mode and it doesn't look like that. Okay. So yeah, no matter what printer you're using, the higher your original image is when you print it, you're going to get a nicer print from a better photo. Definitely. Always. Yeah. Okay. So what can I matte this with? Because I don't think it's going to be this bright yellow. No. And I'm running out of pieces, so I need to find an extra layer here. I think I should bring in pink to match those trees. So let's see. Shall we go to the scrap basket? I feel like I've neglected my scrap basket recently, so I'm trying in the last couple weeks to maybe be a little kinder to my scrap basket. I mean, it's right here. It's literally the drawer underneath. Okay, pinks. What have we got? That's just, no, that's too small. Apparently I have lots of tiny pink scraps. I need a bigger one. Something big enough to matte those. Here's an interesting one. That might work. And one to contrast with that. There we go. I got a blue that's anywhere near what we've got there. I'm gonna pull this out, I think. Okay. That's not the blue. It just caught my eye. And kind of a almost sky blue. That's too green. Blues that are not blue-green. Because I don't know if we've met, but I have a tendency to buy papers that are blue-green. Come on. There's got to be some real blue in here somewhere. Okay, let's see what I got there. Oh, Elaine says, don't forget you had a pink tree sticker in a previous kit month. Do we remember what? what kit it was. I'm not sure. Okay, so this one is ombre, and I'm going to use this light edge and then that darker dot. Do these both fit across there? Yeah. Okay. Go looking for the pink tree sticker in a moment. Although I have more of these pictures, so if I don't find it today, don't worry. Hey! Kat says her daughter and I finally got to see Newsies this weekend. It was brilliant, and they went to the stage door to meet several of the cast. Yay! I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Oh, we love it so much. It's only running till the end of July. How many times will we see it before then? So I've seen it 4 times. WB has seen it. Ah, it's excellent. I don't know what I'm doing here. That's going to slide off my desk. Just love it. This is going to be really tonal at the bottom, but more contrast at the top, and I like it. Okay, so let's do this and then kind of sketch out where this is going. That's going to fit there. Yeah, and I have this tonal set of pinks across there. I like that. Okay, let's sketch it. Suki thinks I'll be pleasantly surprised when I upgrade my phone. Yeah, I know I'll be happier with the video quality because sometimes at the dance studio, somebody will pass around a phone to film something. And yeah, the people who have a 13 or a 14, the video quality on there is much, much better. It's far more enjoyable to film a dance routine on the new ones than the one I have. Sophia's got to go collect daughter from the exam. Hope all went well. We'll see you soon. Kat's laughing that I've been to the same show so many times. So most of those, so one we booked ahead of time. The first time we went, we booked ahead of time. The other 3 have all been bargain on the day tickets where the seats haven't sold on the day. Yeah, so sometimes you have a day off and you're like, what are we going to do? Let's go see what we can get. And a couple times we've ended up with tickets to the same show. But that's all right. Okay, so we've got this background already built, and we've got 2 photos that are kind of here. I really drew those too far over. I'm sorry. No, that journaling box is here. The journaling box is taller than the photo boxes. And then we have this one that comes up here. And then we have this bit of pattern paper. Okay, so with me so far, these are then in a box. Like that. Okay, so I think title needs to go down here at the bottom. Journaling's already going on there, but we're going to add in lots of detail. So this is an excellent container for detail. So there's going to be embellishment here. I think we should bring embellishment down below the title. And I think I'm going to add in an element over here, which may be vellum. have that as a container for detail as well. And there'll be confetti in those 3 corners too. Okay. So here we have, ding, 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 ding. So I'm going to bring out some brown ink to do these edges. Is that what I used here? Oh, wait, I didn't. That's black. Hold on. I'm not going to use brown. I'm going to use black because I started this background with black. So we'll go that direction. How funny. Okay, black one's here. There we go. I do kind of want to go to one of the, this is such a cheesy name, fancy performances. So they do special, like, super fan nights. And you can meet people who are also madly in love with this show. I'm like a rank amateur compared to some of them. I know people who have seen this show like 20, 30 times. I'm guessing they don't also need to pay a mortgage or something. I don't know. I don't ask these questions. It's not my money. But they do these nights, and then there's like costume contests and souvenirs and stuff like that. And I think WB would get a massive kick out of that, and I think it would be quite fun. I'm guessing that he would be one of the only quite small people. So I think he would really be meeting his people there to be like anybody who brings a kid or wants to talk to a kid at an event like that would be the kind of people that he just enjoys hanging out with. So things I pulled out here. So we're going to use these stickers a lot. I pulled out these 3 pieces from my scraps because they are all excellent containers for detail. Things that have a box, be that like a Polaroid frame or like a journaling box, are really good for holding little stacks of detail. Yeah. And I actually picked this one up because from the top I was looking for that light blue. So I think I'm going to start with one of these and see what else we might add in with it. Blue. These are from Vicky's, and I like this pink up here. This is the one that keeps cracking me up. I have to put this in my album. So this, I'm like next to Vicky when we took this. This is Chinatown in London. She bought this bubble waffle and she ate like 3 bites and then she just gave it to me. And she was like, okay, that's what I wanted. I wanted a photo of it and I wanted to know what it tasted like, and now I'm done. And that was my lunch. I didn't know it was going to be pattern paper, but it does make me laugh a lot. Oh, that was terrible cutting, Shimelle. Try again. There we go. So those 2. I want this one. I think this one as well, though. I like the idea of lots of layered pink pieces where you might not see much of them. So things from scraps, okay? So don't let that throw you. Just use it as permission to use little scraps that you have. Do you have a Polaroid style cut apart and you use some of it and not the rest of it? This is the time. This is the way. Good morning, Corey and Heather. How are you? You know what's so funny? I just realized, because I was sending that message to the This Year's Story people right before this, I was going to put a note to say, by the way, if you want, you could come watch now because I'm going to be scrapping live now. Did I remember to add that into the email? No, not at all. So those of you who realized, and we're like, I'm just going to come watch anyway. Thank you. You make a great, you're a great makeup for my mistakes. Who makes the Polaroid paper? That one is Pink Fresh. That one is Vicky B. The Pink Fresh one is from a collection called Super Cool. And the Vicky is from, oh, I just cut through the branding bit. Let's Wander. Okay, so then this one and this blue one that I'm cutting out now are from the kit. They're from that crepe paper. Oh, what am I doing today? Can't cut straight lines to save my life. What's happened? Let's see if I can fix this a little bit. I went really skew. Nope. That made it worse. Let's see what I can fix. I don't know why I thought I could fix it that way. I know that I'm not good at that. Instead, I'm going to do what I know I am good at, following a visual line on the paper. It's got a little tear over here, but it'll be all right. Okay, let's ink all of these, put them in places. Okay. Oh my goodness, the delayed gratification of not reading the email that phone call was about that I had to hang up on at the beginning. I want to know what it is. Better find out soon. Yes, Pink Fresh do have a whole bunch of new lines out. One in conjunction with Flora Farkas, who has a beautiful eye for lovely stuff. We'll see what's in stock when we change from May to June. Oh my goodness, that's next week. But la 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 la. Let's get all the things done that need to be done in May first. Yeah? Yeah? Okay. So we can layer up some pieces like that. Yeah. So when I have pieces like this, I'm not getting flustered by the fact that this has an ellipse on it that I'm not going to use. But these are the same width, and I don't want that. So I offset here so that I've got that a little lower. Then this box is going to go right there and cover the white space in the middle. And this whole piece is going to come to the side over here. Yeah. Okay. Where can this work out that it's not just going to completely make that blue box pointless? And I need to punch those two ends. Put my hole punch in here? Yes. It's not quite the right size. But I think I'll probably do better just trimming around that than trying to trim it from scratch. Yeah. Ish. So that's going to go here. So I'm offsetting the blue on the blue and the white frame around the edge. Maybe this needs to move more to this corner than I originally thought, because I was kind of thinking here. I think maybe actually it needs to go over here. Right, kind of want the pink to show there. Yeah. Okay, need something here. Let's bring these stickers in. Oh, and this is not stuck to anything. Let's go ahead and stick this. I don't want to go so far over that I lose all my journaling space though. I want to see the rainbow here. Oh, I'm totally losing that journaling box. Oh, pesky journaling box. I'm going to make the gap over here smaller. That'll help a little bit. I want to keep this green visible. There, okay. Except not serif. There. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. Am I happy with this here? Looking at the original plan going, why? Why have we done that? And I'm not, maybe that's the answer. There's a really big valley here then. What about there? I think that works better. Okay. Details in the foreground. Where did my block go? Because I'm going to pull out a whole bunch of stickers that are going to work well. So I want all the pink stuff. 1, 2, pink. Now, here's an interesting one. Guess what kind of birds live in these trees, and in fact the trees all over this park? Green parakeets. They don't look exactly like that, but they're pretty close. And they are that color green. So I'm tempted. Okay, that's all the pink. Yes. Okay. Plus this bird. Yeah. Connie thinks the pink tree sticker might be in the March kit. I'll have a look. Tony's husband isn't watching and wants to know what I'm doing to the paper. I said, inking the edge of the paper. Oh, does he want to know how that's done? I think there's an autocorrect in there. Yeah, it's not a parakeet. It's a budgie. But it's green. Yeah, I know it's a different kind of bird, but also I have no real direct connection to budgerigars. So I'm going to go with it. Right, and I need something up here that's going to cover this. And I think that's going to be a flower like that. Yeah. So here's how I ink things for Tony's husband. Hello, Tony's husband. So this is a little bit of foam that sticks to a handle so that you don't get too messy. You tap it on your ink pad so that you have some ink, but not like a tremendous amount of ink in the foam. And then you brush it against the edge of your paper. So that then you can see, let's see if it'll focus. You can see the difference in this one, no ink, nice and clean. This one inked with the faded gray around the edges. Now, it might not always be the case that you want to have faded gray around your edges. Sometimes you want it to be bright and white like that. But I ink a lot of edges, and that's how I do it. But the reason you don't see me do it in detail all the time is because everybody would get really bored of me doing it because they know what I'm doing now. But I am happy to tell you anytime. AJ says, go with it, just put a bird on it. We put birds on things. Yeah, let's put birds on things. So we got a sticker there, and that's covered that little awkward bit. All right. Document all the birds on things. No. Okay, so I think this is going to come down here. Budgerigars are probably quieter than parakeets. Parakeets are very squawky. And their babies sound like what you would imagine a shrunken, squawky bird to sound like. So this time of year, you can quite often hear them when you walk underneath a tree, and you'll hear all of this, like half a dozen little voices that sound like the big squawk, 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 but just little squawk, squawk, squawk. And it's the wildest thing. I don't know why I find it so surprising that that a small version would sound like a small version, but I do. Sophia's like, what did I miss? And apparently she missed a giant budgie. Yeah, you missed a giant budgie that's going to pretend to be a parakeet because I got 3 of these budgies to use. I'm putting one on today's page because it's the same color as the parakeets. Oh, sorry. I put this block on here and cut the layout off of the screen. I think we are all good. There. All right. Moving down to here, we're going to have a bit of hot pink there. Yeah, but I think that needs popping up. Where are my pop dots today? So put 2 of those. Okay, and we've got notification on where the pink tree sticker is. Connie says it's on the Day in the Life number 2 sticker page. Okay, I remember which one it is now. Okay, let me grab it. Where have I put that kit? Is it right here? There it is. Got it. Duffy's going to start quoting Monty Python as an expert. Still got my green one visible. I've got green into blue in my fade here. We're all good. Okay, so pink tree. Was there anything else? It was literally a single pink tree. How random is that? Okay. I got one of those florals up there. I think I'm gonna lose my journaling space though. Could I fit it here? There. Oh, Sophia, they've been in Greenwich Park for 12-ish years. So for those who don't know, so parakeets are obviously not native to London, but they're blooming everywhere. And the reason being supposedly twofold. So there have actually been some parakeets in Greenwich Park for a really long time, like not 15 years long time, but like since the Victorians, because parakeets and other wild birds and other wild animals were really exciting pets to the Victorians. If you ever want to get an idea of what those with spare cash did in Victorian times when people were discovering new parts of the world and going out and exploring things, you can either go visit the Natural History Museum in London, or you can do it by watching Paddington, because it has a whole bunch of scenes in the Natural History Museum. And there are displays of all sorts of taxidermied animals in this museum. And so many of them, when you start reading the cards, come from personal collections of Victorian ladies. So, in fact, at the Natural History Museum, there is a massive case with like a tree in it that's filled with hummingbirds. And when you read it, this was one woman's collection. This is not a museum curator at some point in time has gone, oh, we've collected all these different hummingbirds from all over the world. Let's display them on a tree. And then the current day's curators are like, well, that looked cool apparently a long time ago. Let's keep that little bit of history. No, the whole thing came like that. It was a display in someone's house. And it was like, look, I am very interested in the explanation or exploration of the world. So I display all of these hummingbirds in my living room on a tree in a case. Yes, it's bonkers, but it makes historical sense a little bit. Like, I can't explain how taxidermy animals becoming cool decoration actually makes sense. But you know what I mean? That like people were traveling the world in a different kind of way. People were bringing back things and going, look, this creature exists and it doesn't live here. How cool is that? I can kind of see how that became like a thing for people to use to brag about how much of the world they'd seen. Instead of having cool photos, they brought home animals. Taxidermied animals, or animals to taxidermy. I don't know. Anyway, so parakeets as pets is a documented thing in Blackheath and Greenwich in the Victorian age. But then some of them were let go at some point in time. Maybe there's some thought by historians that they were maybe let go at the beginning of World War I. Or maybe people got bored of them before then. That gives me the shivers. But anyway, for whatever reason, these birds were just released, and they mostly stayed very close to where they were let go. So there are some older pedigree of parakeets in Blackheath and Greenwich. But the ones that have spread all over London in the last 15 years are not the same. And the ones that we have right now that are taking over the city, so they multiply faster than pigeons, which is why they're everywhere. So they're invasive, and they have lots of babies very quickly. So the other interesting bit is that you can watch exactly how they take over. So they fight local birds, flat out just fight them. So we have a church near us that the steeple has been filled with starlings for who knows how long. I mean, the church is 150 years old. I'm willing to bet that the starlings were pretty early adopters. The parakeets will fight the starlings, and starlings are not calm birds. Like, they'll fight back. We also have carrion crows, as you know, because sometimes they make guest appearance in these videos. And the parakeets will fight the crows. The crows are twice their size, at least. And they will totally fight. And the thing is that if the parakeets lose the fight, they just come back and fight another day. So it doesn't surprise me that they are now all over London, because there are so many of them. But we have more pigeons than we have parakeets, but I don't know how long that will be. And yeah, they're very pretty, but they're very squawky. And the bad bit about them is that they kick out native birds, and we don't like that. We want birds here to keep their homes. I don't know. So yeah, parakeets. But yeah, there's a theory with the modern ones that are all over London that they came from a film set. That there was some film that like 15, 20 years ago had like 100 of them or something for some sort of thing, and they were released by mistake, or maybe not by mistake. I don't know. Anyway, I've heard that from many places, but it's not an old enough history to have been written in books like the Victorian stuff. So there we go. But the ones that have been here locally since the Victorian age, they're not the same species of parakeet, apparently. But there's a house in Westcombe Hill, which is kind of between Blackheath and Greenwich, or on the edge. And it's called the House of Parakeet, and it has parakeets painted all over the building. Their Christmas decorations are epic if you like birds. Not epic if you don't like birds. So there we go. Okay, title. I need a Wes Anderson kind of title here. Oh, maybe I should use this key as like a movie title kind of thing. He directed this whole shoot, the whole costume, the key, the story behind it, and then the little video that we made to go along with it. I'm going to do the key in these big letter stickers, and then I'm going to use smaller ones to kind of finish the movie title underneath, fake movie title. Am I like not standing up straight today, and that's why everything's going wonky? I don't know. Can't do straight lines today. Oh my goodness. Yeah, AJ lived in San Antonio, and there was a starling migration that would pass through the city. Starlings, like en masse, it's just crazy. They love the beach they love British beaches. And so when I first moved here, I lived in Brighton, which is a coastal town. And I used to spend a lot of time down on the beach, working on my dissertation, or meditating, wondering what I was going to write in my dissertation, one or the other. And the starling murmurations on the beach would just be incredible. Just these massive formations of birds. and far enough away that it's not like the birds, like not like a Hitchcock film. However, I don't recommend Brighton if the birds totally freaks you out, because the seagulls in Brighton, not only will they eat your chips, they will sit on your doorstep and wait for you to put your rubbish out and then go through your rubbish. just because they can. So I've got hearts here, and I've got this kind of heart situation going up here. Bring one there. Bring one here. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Let's get some little letter stickers. Here. I knew they were in there somewhere. Yep, okay. So his Wes Anderson movie is going to be called The Key to Spring. So I think I can make that work well with the journaling. The pink trees blooming every year is kind of a big moment in our calendar. So the wisteria is out now, but it's really interesting because across the city, different things bloom at slightly different times. So the Greenwich Park pink trees are the last of the big displays of pink trees to bloom in London every year. So there's another archway like this in West London, and it's always to the floor before ours have a single bloom. And Instagram makes this really funny if you're a local or if you just live for pink trees, because people will start posting their pink tree photos at the beginning once the very first ones have started to show any sort of sign that they're going to bloom. They pull out all their pink tree photos and post them, and they'll put captions on them like, I went to Greenwich Park today, and I'll have actually been at Greenwich Park and there's not a pink bloom to be seen yet, because these bloom last. And it just blows my mind that like Instagram likes mean that much to somebody that they would say they went somewhere when obviously that photo is from a previous year. Just like say, I can't wait for the trees to bloom again this year. Don't lie and say you were there. I don't understand. But that's me. So then a post came up on my feed the other day with beautiful photos of the wisteria, but the caption was somebody saying that they had reposted all different wisteria photos from other creators because they were so sad that they missed wisteria season in London this year. Well, my neighborhood is full of wisteria right now. Like, admittedly, like yesterday, they've started to droop, but a lot of them are still in full bloom. I don't get why somebody would just be like, nope, I missed it. Just walk around. It's still out there. But I'm guessing maybe over in West London where the pink trees bloom earlier, the wisteria probably bloomed earlier too. I don't know. Just enjoy the blossoms that you've got. Oh, Corey says, my pink tree stories every year remind her of cotton field stories. Now, I'm really curious, having not grown up near a cotton field, but in Kansas City we have cottonwood trees, different, but also cottony. And cottony is totally a word. And I did not realize growing up that my insane hay fever was not due to just a large range of things that grow. It was cottonwood trees. Because when I moved here, the allergy just disappeared. I, by and large, do not get hay fever in England. But I went back on a trip one day, and it was the day that the cotton starts like flying off the cottonwood trees and it's on everybody's windscreens and everything. My eyes were streaming while I was still on the plane when they opened the door and we're like getting our bags and waiting to get out. And all of a sudden my face just puffed up. I couldn't see straight because my eyes were watering so much. And I'm like, oh no. And then we can walk down the jetway and into the car park and everything's covered in cottonwood. And I'm like, it's this. And I'd lived here like 15 years at that point. I never put two and two together. So if you live near a cotton field, like, are the allergies to just plain old cotton as bonkers? Because, oh my goodness, cottonwood trees are intense. Intense. Okay, so we've got a fair amount of detail going on here. Remember to be careful with these. So I'm going to do dots up here. Oh, that one didn't go. Just have to put some glue on it. That one did. Okay. So I got 2 shades of pink and 1 shade of blue there. I'll do 2 shades of blue and 1 of pink over here because I've got a lot of shades of pink over here already. So I'll do the 2 different blues. One of these here. Like that. Yeah. Ah, actual cotton says, Corey says that does not cause allergies, but ragweed, oak, and pine. Yeah, Sue agrees. Actual cotton doesn't bother them. Amazing. So Melissa and I make a rubbish team. She has had allergy tests reveal that cottonwood trees are the only tree she's not allergic to. Oh, Melissa, we can't be in the same place at the same time. One of us will be truly miserable whenever there's a tree around. Okay. What else can I fit on here? So I've got these. I'm not sure if they're too, but I've got, see, I thought they were kind of too heavy because they're black, but I have this black label here. Maybe I use this grid paper over here for place and date. So I'll use the where and the when sticker. Yeah. You could totally, by the way, you could use that as your title, this sticker, for sure. But, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do with it because I don't spell colorful like that. It's so nice, though. Yeah. Let's have some of the dots. But I kind of need to unfold it to get to the dots while I'm learning. Otherwise, I just kind of tear them by accident. So things like this where you've got a bit of detail, you can add more detail to that. So you can just, you don't need to let the pattern live alone. You can give it some more detail in the foreground too. Like that. What about that arrow? It's not an arrow, it's a swoopy. It's a swoopy. Oh, Tammy's new and says, why did you move to London? So I came to the UK for university and I never went home. So I originally lived in Brighton. I studied at the University of Sussex. That's where I did my master's degree. I did my undergrad in Kansas and then did a master's in England. I'm going to stretch this. So it's going to disappear underneath there and come back over here. Maybe. Yep, so my husband is British, but I had already relocated here before I met him. I knew I was going to stay. I'd been here about 2 weeks, and I just felt far more at home here than there. I keep moving the page too far down the desk today. I'm sorry. Tammy says, what's your master's in? It's in contemporary English literature. My bachelor's is in musical theater. It's completely useful. The title says The Key to Spring, because he's holding a key here, and he'd made up a story that we made a little video about. Yep, so after, I'll come back to that, AJ. After I finished my degree, I became a teacher here and taught secondary school for 8-9 years, and then became a scrapbooker full time. That's what I did. And in the middle there, got married and moved to London. Yeah, because I taught outside of London. My first teaching job was in London, but I was commuting in. And then I taught outside of London in Essex, and then moved to London after I stopped teaching at that school. Yep. Right. And AJ says, isn't wisteria an invasive vine that chokes the trees it grows on? Here in Virginia, I've been noticing these large drifts of dead trees that burst into purple flowers in March and April. That's really interesting. So wisteria is very British in like it's all over the country. But it grows against houses and buildings and things like that. I don't know about it choking out like the things that it grows on. It might do. We do have some places here where the wisteria has grown off the house and into other wildlife and they just let it grow. I don't know though. I know there's more than one kind though, because we have different ones even within. Oh, you're right. Thank you. This is why I shouldn't talk and do letter stickers at the same time. But yeah, there's different varieties of wisteria even within our neighborhood from house to house. And I don't know the specifics. I'm definitely not a plant person. I just like looking at them. I don't do gardening. Hello again, Sophia. Hope the exam went well. Sue says, you used to spell colorful like that before you moved, right? Yes and no. So I was an English teacher here. So what am I looking for? This. American spelling feels weird to me. Sometimes I'll use American spelling stuff on pages that are before I moved here. Every once in a while, I'll decide to go ahead and use it because it's just so pretty that I want to. I'm not to that point with that particular sticker yet, but you never know. And I don't have any problem with anybody else who wants to go ahead and use American spelling and it's not bothered by them. But it bothers me, so I don't do it. I wish you could see the expression on my face and don't have face cam right now. But yeah, I will totally own that it is my own weirdness. But it's why in all of my paper collections, you won't find words that are spelt differently in English and in English, in British English is what I meant. British English and American English. I just don't use them in my collections because I'd rather just find other words. I know it's weird. it's okay. I'll own that it is my weirdness, and anybody else is free to use what they want. And don't forget that there are lots of places around the world where people don't speak English as their first language, but because scrapbooking supplies are made in English, they scrapbook in English. And that's why I used to, when I would teach abroad, I would always take letter stamps, because I would love for your pages to reflect your actual thoughts and for you to not have to translate your thoughts into stickers, if that's the case. So either individual letter stickers or stamps rather than like pre-printed phrases. But it's my weirdness. Nobody else's weirdness. Okay. Oh, and I'm going to end on this one. Kate is cracking me up. Kate's daughter studied English Lit at the University of Sussex, and she's now teaching secondary English. She's teaching English in a secondary school in Essex, but she's not a scrapbooker. I feel like I have to recruit her. She's living the same life. See if she can spot a lovely family living near, like, where she can see from her classroom, because the Adhesive Avengers, the house where he grew up, I could see from my classroom, and I didn't know that until after I'd already met him, which was very funny. He didn't go to the school that I taught at when he was younger or anything, but he grew up very close to it, which was funny. Just went somewhere else. Right. Okay. Kate says she could be converted. I think between the two of us, we'll be all right. We could convert her. Okay, so thank you so much for everybody who's here. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you press that thumbs up button. And here's your extra super love for today, if you do. And if you're in class, I will be presenting 2 lessons live this week. That's Tuesday and Wednesday. At the same time that we did today, 1:30. They're hour-long presentations, and you can come join in there. But you need to have taken either Scrap a Rainbow or This Year's Story. Both of those classes get access to those live videos. And if you don't watch live, it's absolutely fine. They stay on the replay if you have signed up for either of those classes. Okay? Thank you so much. I hope you have a great week. And I'll see you here on Friday at 10. I have a habit of saying 9:30. It's not. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, Friday. Sarah says, can I join the class and make the lives? Yes. If you sign up today or tomorrow morning, you will have access in time for tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, I'll probably cut off at about midday tomorrow so that I can get anybody who signs up tomorrow registered, and then also have everything ready on my desk. Cool, cool? No problem, Sarah. Thanks so much. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.